Naruto, God Level System Author, Blue Water God. Chapter 256 Flickering Uchiha Madara. Xiangchen silently looked at Madara Uchiha, who was laughing like a nervous man, and he really couldn't figure out what he was laughing at. "What are you laughing at?" "Laughing like a big fool." Sun Xiangchen looked at Madara Uchiha with the eyes of the mentally handicapped. Madara Uchiha's laughter stopped abruptly. "Don't you think it's a very interesting thing that six-path immortals are still alive?" Uchiha Madara's eyes shone with light, and at this moment there was no twilight in him at all. "Wouldn't it be a great honor to be able to play against the six-path immortals?" Madara Uchiha is a very belligerent person, and he is very arrogant, and he doesn't think he is worse than anyone else. "Interesting? Don't pretend with me here. That old man from Immortal Six Paths can slap you to death with a slap." Xiangchen's words were like a sledgehammer, hitting a Madara Uchiha's mind. "You don't think that if you live for a few decades, you can fight against the six-path immortals who have lived for thousands of years?" Xiangchen sneered at Madara Uchiha with contempt. "Let me tell you, you are actually a chess piece in the hands of the six-path immortals. The stone tablet you saw was actually left by the six-path immortals on purpose." "What?" Madara Uchiha couldn't sit still at all this time, stood up and looked at Xiangchen in shock. Hige, who stayed on Uchiha Madara's body, was also full of question marks. He didn't know what the Xiangchen was doing, but after listening to Xiangchen's words, he did believe that the six-path immortals were not dead. The six-path immortals founded the ninja sect and passed on chakra to get more chakra, and you are the pigs raised by the six-path immortals, waiting for his slaughter. He left that deal to make you a Tails Jinchuriki, activate the infinite monthly reading, and then gather all the chakras in the whole world. When you become a Tails Jinchuriki, it is time for him to pick the fruits of victory. Unlimited monthly reading is actually a conspiracy. Xiangchen's half-truths made Uchiha Madara stunned for a while. Madara Uchiha sat down, feeling very uneasy, but it was impossible for him to completely trust Xiangchen's words. Xiangchen also saw the unbelief in Madara Uchiha's eyes, so he continued, "The illusion of infinite moon reading is recorded by the 6 stone tablets, and the 6 stone tablets are left by the immortals of the 6 roads, so he will definitely read the infinite moon reading, so why doesn't he start the infinite moon reading to achieve permanent peace?" Madara Uchiha clenched his fists. At this time, he had already believed what Xiangchen said. Kuroge was very nervous. Madara Uchiha will not give up the unlimited monthly reading plan because of Hyugatsun's words. "You want me to give up the unlimited monthly reading plan?" Madara Uchiha was slightly wary. He is not someone who will be shaken by a few words from others. "Of course not. Not only do we not give up the unlimited monthly reading plan, but we also have to work hard to complete it. Only in this way can we find out the guy who was hiding in the dark." Immortal Six Paths. Xiangchen shook his head and said, "Why did you tell me?" It could be seen that Madara Uchiha had extreme distrust of Xiangchen. "A big guy who has been hidden for thousands of years. I have no confidence to defeat it, so of course I will call you." Xiangchen took a sip of wine and said with a smile, "I'm a good sake. How about a drink?" "No need." Madara Uchiha refused again. He was thinking about the truthfulness of Xiangchen's words. After all, Xiangchen's character was not very good, so he could not easily believe Xiangchen. "Otherwise, I am afraid that it will be sold, and I will help the other party to count the money." Last time, it was because of his carelessness that he fell in with Xiangchen's calculations, and now facing Xiangchen, his momentum will be weaker by 3 points first. He felt that facing Xiangchen, he was going to be a little shorter. This feeling was very aggrieved, but there was no way, who made the curse in his soul unable to be lifted. Seeing the fox-like smile on Xiangchen's face, he subconsciously didn't believe it. Once bitten, twice shy. Now Uchiha Madara is like this, because he was pitted by Hyuga-chen once, and he is still terrified. "What is your ultimate goal?" Madara Uchiha asked directly. "I'm just inviting you to deal with the six-path immortals with me." "You don't need to maliciously guess at me, Lord Ban." Xiangchen waved his hand. "It's natural to deal with immortals of the 6 paths. I also want to see the methods of the ancestors of the ninja world." Uchiha Madara narrowed his eyes, full of fighting intent. "Don't get me wrong, Mr. Ban, I invite you to succeed in the plan and become the Jinchuriki of the 10 tailings, not the rookie you are now. Whether you are qualified to wrestle with the 6-path immortals depends on the future. Who knows if you are qualified in the end." Xiangchen struck mercilessly. But what Xiangchen said is also true. The current Uchiha Madara is not even qualified to play with 6-path immortals. Uchiha Madara's face was as gloomy as water. He knew that Xiangchen looked down on him. Since his birth, Xiangchen was the first person to look down on him. "Don't be gloomy." Xiangchen stretched out his hand and grabbed it, and a dark hook jade mark flew out of Uchiha Madara's soul. "This is?" Uchiha Madara asked quickly. "You already guessed it, didn't you?" Xiangchen smiled lightly. Madara Uchiha was very excited, and he could clearly feel that the depressed feeling in his soul had disappeared. At this time Madara Uchiha was like a bird that finally flew out of the cage, completely liberated and completely free. After being excited for a while, Madara Uchiha calmed down, but instead he became vigilant, whether there was any conspiracy in it. If it was Madara Uchiha himself, would he be so kind? The answer is number. Don't doubt that there is a conspiracy. I don't need any conspiracy against you. Sun Xiangchen glanced at Uchiha Madara, and the momentum on his body pressed towards Uchiha Madara. Madara Uchiha took a breath, and a mouthful of old blood rushed to his mouth, but Madara Uchiha swallowed it back. Just when Madara Uchiha wanted to counterattack, Xiangchen's momentum suddenly dissipated, as if it had never appeared before. Madara Uchiha's face turned red. He was ready to fight back, but he didn't expect Xiangchen not to play with him, which made Madara Uchiha very uncomfortable and aggrieved. When you are dead, give me your kaleidoscope writing wheel eye with the Earth Life Eye technique. It will be my reward for unlocking the curse seal for you. Get up and leave with a glass of wine. He is not in the mood to chat with Madara Uchiha here. If he has that time, he might as well go to Tsunade and the others to have romantic relationship. When leaving, Xiangchen took a deep look at Madara Uchiha. In fact, Xiangchen was not looking at Madara Uchiha, but Hide hidden in Madara Uchiha. He knew that Hide's purpose was not only to revive Kaguya Otsutsuki. In the parallel world traversing through the dragon veins, the Hide of that world died in the hands of Xiangchen, and the same Hide's memory, Xiangchen, also checked and learned some secrets about Hide. Hide's purpose is not simple, he is very ambitious. After Xiangchen left, Madara Uchiha's expression was solemn. How did Xiangchen know that the kaleidoscope shaker eye technique had an extra life? Madara Uchiha was very puzzled at this point, and at the same time he also felt the mystery of Xiangchen. After thinking about it for a while, Madara Uchiha put down this question for the time being, and began to close his eyes and meditate. The news that the Six Paths Immortal was not dead had a big impact on him. Even though he was calm on the surface, the waves had already set off in his heart. Chapter 257 The Seven People of the Ninja Sword, Kuri Kushiwan. What did you talk about with Madara Uchiha? Kushina asked curiously. It's nothing, I just told him that Immortal Six Paths is still alive. Xiangchen had a meaningful look on his face, wondering if Madara Uchiha and Immortal Six Paths would work together in the future. Why tell him? Because it's interesting. I want to see if there will be a plot of the son hitting his father in the future. Xiangchen's face was full of wicked interest. Madara Uchiha is the reincarnation of Indra's chakra, and he can be regarded as the son of the Six Path Immortals. If the two of them work together, it will not be the same as the Six Path brothers who sealed Kaguya. However, even if Madara Uchiha becomes Zuri of the Ten Tails, he is not the opponent of the Six Paths Immortals. This is the point where Xiangchen, who has played against the Six Paths Immortals, has the most say. Little white face, you're blocking my way. A cold voice came from in front of Xiangchen, and Xiangchen, who was talking to the girls, turned his head to look forward. It has a yellow spiky head, and wears a mask on the face of the misty dark part. It has slender limbs and looks very tall. It is estimated that it is more than 2 meters tall. Xiangchen's height of 1.87 meters, in front of this 2-meter-high bamboo pole, was a lot shorter, so he could only look up at each other, which made Xiangchen very unhappy. Stinky boy, what are you looking at? Do you want me to screw your head off? Sun Xiangchen showed a cruel smile on his face, but because of the mask, Xiangchen couldn't see it. This guy is so attractive. Kushina was very dissatisfied and clenched his fists. What's your name? Xiangchen raised his mouth slightly, looking at him playfully. Unexpectedly, someone dared to provoke him, and he was really impatient. Little white face, listen carefully, I'm Xuanjuan, one of the 7 members of the Ninja Swordsmen. I'm afraid. Ha ha ha. Xuanjuan laughed wildly. Ninja knife 7 people? At this time, Xiangchen also looked at this guy one more time. To be honest, this guy is just a little minion. If he doesn't sign up, Xiangchen doesn't know him. Looking at the long knife and needle in his hand, Xiangchen wanted to complain. This ninja knife is really weird. You're just a weak woman like Xuanjuan with an oversized embroidery needle. Xiangchen looked at this guy with contempt. What did you say? Kuri Kushiwan was angry. Since becoming the 7 ninja swordsmen, Kuri Kushiwan has been lawless, and even the 3 generations of Mizukage have no respect. Now facing Xiangchen's contempt, Kuri Kushiwan was furious. When people on the street saw that Xiangchen angered Xiangchen, they stayed away from here, for fear of causing trouble, so they could understand the cruel character of Xiangchen. It's angered by Kuri Hunkamaru, and their group is finished. A ninja in the distance showed a schadenfreude expression. With so many beauties around Xiangchen, a man would be jealous. Pity those beauties, alas. While gloating at the misfortune, he could not help but sigh for those beauties. Kuri Kushiwan was extremely cruel, and there was no beauty in his eyes. As long as he made him unhappy, he would kill them all. The thing I hate the most in my life is the little white face. Kuri Hunkamaru looked at Xiangchen's handsome face jealously. Why did he wear a mask all the time? It was not because he was ugly and had no face, so he covered his face. Death to me. Xuanjuan stabbed with a needle, trying to pierce Xiangchen. Thinking of Xiangchen's wailing appearance, Kuraru let out an excited laugh. Uian village is really messy. You can actually do it in the village. Xiangchen shook his head and reached out to grab the stitches that Li Hakuan once dabbed. Hijian villages like this, survival of the fittest. Terumim is not surprised. This has become the tradition of their Uian village. It's still better now, but in the future blood fog period, Uian village will only become more chaotic. How is that possible? A little white face can actually block my attack. Li Yanquan had a look of disbelief. The guy he thought was a little white face actually grabbed his stitches and was not injured at all. Miscellaneous. If I get my clothes dirty, even if I have 10 dog lives, it won't be enough for you to pay. Xiangchen squeezed his palm slightly. Click. The stitches, which are extremely hard, don't know what kind of material they are made of, just shatter into powder. Kuri Kushiwan's expression was sluggish, and his long knife and needle turned into powder. Angry. 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 The anger continued to rise, and Li Kushiwan shouted, I'm going to kill you. Things without brains dare to shout. Xiangchen pouted in disdain. The difference in strength is so big, can't he see? If he was calm, perhaps Li Ranjuan could still consider the comparison of the strengths of the two sides, but his mind had never calmed down. Humphrey, frozen. When Li Xiangchen was hitting Sun Xiangchen, Conan snorted coldly and released a strong chill, completely freezing Li Xiangchen in an instant. A little guy like you doesn't need your brother to do anything at all. Break it up for me. Xiaonan gave a soft drink, and the frozen chestnut string pills and ice cubes shattered together, all shattered into small ice particles, and then disappeared under the breeze. The onlookers gasped sharply, and both ninjas and ordinary people were frightened. The always arrogant Li Xiangchen just died like this, not even leaving a body. I have to court death. Xiangchen shook his head. If he had left before, Xiangchen would not care about a little person. He can only blame him for his bad luck. When he went out to meet Xiangchen and his group, it was destined to be his life. But even if he doesn't die now, he will be beaten to death by Mat Daikai in the future, and he won't be able to live for long. Is there any reward for my brother? Xiaonan looked at Xiangchen expectantly. No, Xiangchen said with his hands spread out. HMPH. Smelly brother. Xiaonan turned his head unhappily. Xiangchen smiled, then lowered his head and kissed Xiaonan's face. Xiaonan looked at Hyuga 0.8 Chen, and was both happy and shy. It would be better if he could go further, such as kissing. As for going further, the shy Xiaonan didn't dare to think about it. Trumim pursed her lips, glared at Xiaonan angrily, and then gave Xiangchen a stern look. Look at what I'm doing, I tell you, even if you keep looking at me, I won't kiss you. Ah. Who wants you to be a big pervert? Die for me. The embarrassed Trumim raised her fist high and hit Xiangchen's hateful face. Want to hit me in the face? Don't I want to lose face? Xiangchen turned to avoid Trumim's fist, then stretched out his hand to hold Trumim in his arms, staring at her with azure blue eyes. Under Xiangchen's gentle gaze, Trumim's face flushed, the anger on her face disappeared. Her strength disappeared, and she quietly lay in Xiangchen's arms. Chapter 258 Kill Yulai Jinba and leave Wunan village. You too, have you hugged enough? Xiaonan stretched out his hand and pulled Trumim away, with a slightly jealous tone. Of course not, Xiaonan, are you jealous? I tell you, Chen's embrace is so warm, and I still linger. Trumim smiled lightly, reached out and brushed her hair, a bit charming. Humphrey, vixen. Xiaonan looked at Trumim, who was obviously more developed than her, with a bit of jealousy on her face. She is obviously a few years older than Trumim, but her figure is not at all superior to Trumim, especially the plump bear. It is estimated that only Tsunade can beat her. What Xiaonan is most vigilant about is Trumim. She doesn't want Trumim to end up in front of her. Oh he no way, Chen just likes me more, go be jealous. Trumim smiled coquettishly, hugging Xiangchen's arms with both hands. Looking at Trumim who was blinking, her eyes emitting a little bit of starlight, and using that pair of full-body Trumim to stimulate herself, Xiangchen couldn't stand it. Damn it, Xiaonan's little face turned red. Ha ha ha. Juxanai couldn't help laughing when she saw Xiaonan's angry look. Xiaonan looked at Juxanai resentfully, really sad. Do you want to go home and see Trumim? Xiangchen asked. Trumim shook her head. In that case, let's leave Uian village, said Xiangchen. Do you want to leave after killing someone? Yulai Jinba said coldly. He had a good relationship with Kuri Kushiwan, and when he learned that Kuri Kushiwan was killed, Yulai Jinba was very angry and killed him directly. My lord, it was they who killed Mr. Kuri Kushimaru. I wonder if you want to give me some reward? A ninja next to Yulai Jinba asked, rubbing his hands. The reason why Wuli Jinba knew that Kuri Kushimaru was dead was because the ninja in front of him informed him. Ha ha. Yulai Jinba laughed mockingly. He actually dared to ask him for a reward. He really didn't know whether to live or die. An explosion sounded, and the ninja who informed him had been blown into a pile of minced meat. Yulai Jinba looked at Xiangchen's group with cold-blooded eyes, revealing the ultimate killing intent. What kind of cat and dog? They all jumped out. Xiangchen pouted, looking at the weird knife in this guy's hand. It should be a group of 7 ninja knives. This is Jinba, the user of explosive knife and foam, and the ruthless duo of Kuri Kushiwan. They are the people who murdered their brothers and killed their teachers. They are very cold-blooded and cruel. Terumim introduced. As a person from Korean village, Terumim is very familiar with these news, and this is not a secret in Korean village. I'm also not interested in knowing who he is. Since he came to court death, it means that he has lived enough. After going to the Pure Land, help me say hello to Otsutsuki Yu. To kill the ashes. Sharp grey bones shot out of his hands, and there were no pears or 8 in the thorns, and the poor pears and 8s collapsed and disappeared. Is it so cruel? Murder doesn't even leave a body. Mute girl whispered, glancing at the explosive knife and droplets that fell on the ground. Xiangchen turned around and pulled the girls away. Because Xiangchen came to Uian village, Uian village lost to elite Xiangchen, and most importantly, permanently lost the long knife and needle. Has Xiangchen gone? Uchiha Madara asked cautiously. Yes Madam Madara, Xiangchen has already left Uian village, but Xiangchen killed Xiangchen, who were among the 7 members of the ninja swords group, Li Randuan and Wuli Jinba. The 3 generations of Mizukage replied respectfully. If the people of Uian village were to see that their beloved Shuiying was so servile, they would definitely drive him down from the position of Shuiying. It's not a matter of you go down first. Uchiha Madara waved his hand and drove the 3 generations of water shadows away. 3 generations of water shadows have been completely controlled by him, so there is no need to be polite to him, and Uchiha Madara will not be polite to others. 3 generations of Mizukage left. Madara Uchiha sat in the yard, lost in thought. Hey, I'm the only one left. It's really hard. Xiangchen was lying on a wooden board, and the board was moving rapidly on the sea. Yesterday, the girls asked Xiangchen to accompany them to go shopping, and then this morning, in order to avoid shopping, Xiangchen sneaked away. The women who go shopping are terrifyingly powerful, and he can't stand it, so it's better to sneak away first. They are asking me for your address. You said if I should tell them, or send them directly to you. X's voice came to Xiangchen's mind. Don't. Xiangchen said quickly. If the girls caught him, he would have a headache. It's okay for me to help you, but you have to promise me a condition. Xu stated her ultimate goal. What conditions? Xiangchen did not agree, but asked vigilantly. I haven't thought about this yet. I'll tell you when I think about it, whether you agree or not. This. Okay, I promise you. Xiangchen gritted his teeth and said. He believed that with what he knew about Xu, if he refused, Xu would definitely send Tsunade, Mikoto, Sarah and the others over. Let's talk about it first. It must not be too much. Xiangchen talked to Xu in advance. Don't worry, I won't embarrass you. Yeah, Xiangchen responded, closing his eyes and enjoying the sunshine. The Third Ninja War became more and more fierce, and Minato Namika successfully attacked Yunin's transport troops and destroyed Yunin's supplies. Let Yunren fall into a more difficult situation, but Yunren showed no sign of retreating, and AI also successfully took over the 637th position of the 4th generation of Reikage. Faced with the destruction of materials, the 4th generation Reikage AI came up with a method, that is, robbing. Food or something directly robs those civilians in the land of fire. They have no shortage of kunai detonating talismans. The only thing they lack is medicines. They are running out of medicines, but the 4th generation of Reikage is still holding on, vowing to fight Konoha to the end. However, because of the volcano lying in front of him, Yunren had no choice but to take a detour from Konoha on the opposite side. So the Yunin battlefield is still optimistic for Konoha, while other battlefields are a bit bad. In the battlefield of the Kingdom of Rain, the battle between Sand Ninja, Rock Ninja and Konoha was beaten and retreated, mainly because the number of ninjas was not as good as the combination of Sand Ninja and Rock Ninja. The worst part is the battle with Kirin. The main force to resist Kirin is Uchiha and Hinata, the 2 big Konoha clans, as well as other Konoha families. However, the Uchiha family trespassed in the fire escape, and was crushed by the Mist Ninja, who was good at water escape, and could only curse the top officials of Konoha secretly in his heart. The Hyuga clan is more disheartened, and even the lunatic of the Kaguya clan can't beat it, and the other major clans can't bear it. There are many families in Konoha, and there are many owners of blood and secret arts, but Uian village is not inferior to Konoha. The hydration secret technique of the Ghost Lamp family alone has caused the major families of Konoha to suffer. This is the reason why the 3 generations of Mizukage did not make a move, and the 7 ninja swordsmen did not all go to the battlefield, otherwise Konoha would end up being swept away. Chapter 259 Redbin vs Nagato. A phantom flashed by, and more than a dozen ninjas on the opposite side covered their necks at the same time, and finally fell to the ground in despair. Looking at the fallen ninja clutching his neck, Yuzuki Xian's face was cold. Xian is really amazing. The swordsmanship is really gorgeous. I also want to learn swordsmanship. Honda looked at the unrestrained Xian with envy. No wonder Xian chose to learn swordsmanship, and the force of swordsmanship is high. Hongdu thought. It's just a group of Zongren and Xiaomanin. Uxian shook her head, not showing any pride. How about we go to the battlefield? Redbin's eyes turned around and suggested. No, I think you're crazy. Hong Yui refused without hesitation. Hongdu, the battlefield is really too dangerous. Although our strength is good, there are many people who are stronger than us. No, Haruin also said. Then do we just kill those bandits, or these wandering ninjas? They are all weak and pitiful. Hongdu pointed at the corpses on the ground and said depressedly. And I have the Xji boundary rock escape. Even if we can't beat it, we can run away. Hongdu said with his fist clenched. That's right. Under the guidance of Kuri Kushiwan, the Red Bins merged with the boundary rock escape, which was also the first blood boundary that Kuri Kushiwan tinkered with. However, although she has Yandun, Red Bin can't use the Super S-rank ninjutsu of the rock giant that is comparable to Susanoo, and her chakra is not enough to release. Why don't you try it? These wandering ninjas are not our opponents at all. If they say they are Chunin, they are actually the fighting power of Genin. Kuri Kushiwan said. In her heart, she also wanted to go to the battlefield to sharpen her swordsmanship and become stronger. Okay. Hong Yui finally nodded and agreed to go to the battlefield. In fact, she also wanted to go to the battlefield to see it. Yeah, that's great, Sister Hong. I really love you to death. Hongdu hugged Yui Hong in both hands and shouted excitedly. Would you like to be so excited? Hong Yui was a little speechless, even though she was yearning for the battlefield. In her heart, she wouldn't shout and dance with joy like Red Bin. The 4 young apprentices of Kuri Kushiwan went to the Land of Rain battlefield together, because they were closer to the Land of Rain. Arriving in the Land of Rain soon, the 4 girls looked at the Land of Rain, where it was raining lightly, and felt a little uncomfortable. To be honest, no one will adapt to the weather in the Land of Rain, as long as they are not used to it. It is humid and dark, and the air exudes a rotten breath. The water vapor is filled with water, and the fog is constantly in the water country, which is much stronger than the rain country. What's going on here? It's been raining all the time. It's really annoying, and I don't know if it's cursed. Hongdu's expression was a little irritable. Anyone who sees this sunless sky will feel extremely irritable. Hey, what do you think that group of people are doing? Could it be a group of cult organizations? No. Haruin, who was wearing a robe, pointed to the front. It really seems to be a cult organization. Yui Hong frowned. I saw a man with yellow hair in the distance, giving a speech with a very excited expression, and the people listening to him were also enthusiastic. Anyone who sees this scene will think that some cult organization is developing believers. The speaker is Yahiko. At this time, Yahiko is looking for like-minded candidates, pulling them into the Akatsuki organization, and completing the ideal of world peace. The Xiao organization has been established for several years, and the development is also very good. I have to say that Yahiko is also a person with a charismatic personality, otherwise he would not be able to set up the Akatsuki organization, and develop the Akatsuki organization to a size that makes Hanzo even jealous. This is also related to Yahiko's ideological goals. Yahiko advocates not relying on extreme force to create world peace, and building a bridge of hope for peace through human-to-human communication. As naive as it may seem, this is a bowl of chicken soup for the soul of those in the war-torn country of Rain. Yahiko drew a pie, which tempted countless people to join in and fight for it. But this also has hidden dangers, that is, once they can't see the hope of fulfilling this ideal, they will eventually leave. When Xiao's organization encounters a real crisis, these guys are absolutely unreliable. Let me, Mistress Ankara, end this ugly scene. Anko clenched her fists tightly, her eyes glowing with brilliance. Before Hong Yui could stop her, Anko jumped a few times and came to Yahiko and the others, pinching her waist and pointing at them. Stupid, evil organization, it is your doomsday. When you meet me, Mitsuwashi Red Bin, today, I will get rid of your group of cancers for the ninja world. Yahiko and the others suddenly appeared, and Mitsurai Red Bin, who was a full second in middle school, was stunned, and looked at Red Bin with a confused look, as if he was watching a mentally retarded child. Who are you? Nagato stood up, looked at Red Bin vigilantly, and pulled Yahiko behind him to protect him. It can be seen from here that Nagato and Yahiko are definitely true love, or Nagato is unrequited love of Yahiko. I'm the one who came to destroy your evil cult organization. Accept the punishment of Lord Red Bin. Yandun Rock Beast. There is no one who can stop the Red Bins from the second disease. Without giving Yahiko and the others a chance to speak, Red Bin formed a seal on both hands, and an extremely ferocious rock beast with a shape very similar to a tiger suddenly emerged from the ground. Then I took pictures of Nagato and Yahiko. The 30-meter-high giant beast, with one paw covering Nagato and Yahiko, was completely trivial. Humphrey. Nagato snorted coldly, having completely defined Red Bin as an enemy. Shenliu Otanzing. The huge repulsive force knocked out the giant rock beast of Red Bin, and several pieces of the rock on its body fell. However, Hongdu is not worried at all. Rock giants, like rock giants, have the ability to repair themselves, and ordinary people can't deal with them at all. Hongdu, why are you so impulsive? No, Haruland blamed. The other party seems to have the bloodline limit, which is somewhat similar to the one used by the teacher, so be careful. Yuzuki Xian pulled out more aim, and looked at Nagato and Yahiko with vigilance. As for those who were given chicken soup for the soul by Yahiko, they have all run away, and the 30-meter-high beast looks scary. You don't have to intervene. These two guys leave it to me, Hongdu. It is my duty to fight crime, Hongdu said while patting her undeveloped breasts. For no reason. Why are you attacking us? Yahiko asked angrily. You still dare to question me? The evil organization is so mad, it will die. Hongdu let out a coquettish shout, and the rock beast rushed towards Nagato. Nagato frowned. This thing seems to be difficult to handle, and once again used Shenryu Otanzing to knock the rock beast flying. At present, Nagato's attacks are very scarce, and the reincarnation I can't all be used. The strongest ninjutsu is Shinra Danzing, and the other ninjutsu that Jiraiya has taught can't help this beast at all. Wind escape. Big breakthrough. Yahiko couldn't let Nagato fight alone, and quickly used ninjutsu to help Nagato. But they don't know any advanced ninjutsu, and they won't teach them if they are too advanced. This is a matter of principle. After all, Nagato and Yahiko are not from Konoha. Even Jiraiya thinks that Nagato is the son of prophecy and someone who changes the ninja world, but he will not teach them too advanced ninjutsu without authorization. Chapter 260 The Arrival of Sun Xiangchen. Do you need our help? Yuika frowned as she looked at Yahiko's hands, and asked quickly. No, I can deal with them alone. Hongdu clenched his fists and said confidently. Vientiane. Nagato Samsara's eyes fluctuated, and a black hole-like gravitational force suddenly erupted from his hand, and the gravitational force pulled Red Bin's body. At the same time, a handful of kunai appeared in Nagato's hand. After waiting for the Red Bins to be sucked, he immediately gave her a fatal blow. He wouldn't be merciful just because Red Bin was a girl, only Yahiko was in his eyes. Feeling the huge gravitational force, Red Bin screamed badly and wanted to stabilize his body, but the gravitational force erupted too suddenly, and Red Bin couldn't react in time. At this moment, Moyuxian grabbed Hongdu's arm and pulled her back suddenly. This guy's ninjutsu is exactly the same as that of the villain teacher. Hongdu's expression finally became serious. The abuse of vegetables for a period of time made her look down on other people a bit. If it wasn't for Yuzuki to hold her back, she might have fallen. Don't be too arrogant, let's do it together. Yuzuki instantly turned into a streamer, and Morum Amaru completely showed its edge. Shenryu Otanzing. Nagato once again released this reincarnation I ninjutsu, which combines attack and defense. Although Nagato only has this move to attack now, this move can also be eaten all over the sky. Just approaching Nagato, Yuzuki, who was about to slash down with a knife, was suddenly hit by the repulsion force, groaned, and was slightly injured. Xian, are you alright? Let me see. No. Harem hurried over to check the situation of Yuzuki. I'm fine, it's just a minor injury. Yuzuki shook her head, so that No Harem didn't have to worry. No Harem still checked with worry, and she was relieved when she found that Yuzuki was really okay. You dare to hurt my good sister, give me death. Rock escape, rock cage. The angry Red Bins directly used the strongest ninjutsu she could use. This ninjutsu Xiangchen once used it to kill 3,000 Yunren. Even if the Red Bin is displayed, it is not as good as what Xiangchen once used, but it is still amazing. Looking at the rapidly shrinking cage, Nagato's expression remained unchanged, and he used Shenryu Otanzing again. Under the action of the repulsive force, the shrunken rock blade began to crack, but it healed again before the rock's blade was broken. This time Nagato was finally shocked. Every time Shenryu Otanzing is used, it needs a cooling time of at least 5 seconds. Within these 5 seconds, you cannot release Shenryu Otanzing again. Nagato, don't worry about me, escape by yourself. Yahiko looked at Nagato firmly. He knew that Nagato was worried about him and did not release Shenryu Otanzing with all his strength, so he could not open this cage. Nagato shook his head. Shinra Danzing is a 360-degree indiscriminate attack, and he can control the repulsion to avoid Yahiko is his limit. If he uses the full force of Shinra Danzing, he will not be able to control the repulsion to avoid Yahiko, and will attack together with Yahiko, and Yahiko will surely die by then. Nagato would rather let him die than watch Yahiko die. Hurry up, you let Nagato go. If I offend you, then let me do it and let Nagato leave. Yahiko shouted loudly. Yahiko, I have a solution. The suction seal. Nagato used the suction seal to absorb this ninjutsu. Although the rock cage is powerful, it is still broken by the ability of the reincarnation eye. What? Hongdu was surprised that it was broken so easily. This was her strongest ninjutsu. Yahiko, leave first. Nagato said to Yahiko. Yeah. Nagato, be careful yourself. Yahiko nodded and turned to leave. He knew that he was not strong, and staying here would only drag Nagato. After Yahiko left, Nagato's face immediately turned cold. Be careful. Hong Yui looked vigilant, and at the same time couldn't help but glared at Red Bean, and before he even went to the battlefield, he got into trouble. Red Bean stuck out his tongue. God, Liu, heaven, Zheng. Nagato shouted word by word. The huge gravitational force broke out completely, several times stronger than the previous one, and Hongdu immediately blocked the 30-meter giant beast in front. But for a moment, The giant beast shattered and drowned Uchiha and the others with undiminished power. At this time, there was only one thought in their hearts, and that was the end. How could they resist such a powerful attack? However, when the repulsion hit them, they found that they were unscathed, and they had nothing to do. What's going on here? Could it be that the opponent's attack is to scare people, but it's actually not powerful at all? The four girls wondered. And the most shocking thing was Nagato. Seeing that the fourth daughter of Uchiha had nothing to do with her, she was so shocked that her jaw dropped to the ground. It turns out that you are also a paper tiger. I thought you were so powerful. Honda looked at Nagato with contempt. Paper tiger, you big-headed ghost. Xiangchen suddenly appeared behind Hongdu and knocked her head hard. It hurts. Hongdu squatted on the ground holding his head, with a pitiful expression. Teacher? Yuri Hong looked at the sudden appearance of Xiangchen, first surprised, and then overjoyed. Bad teacher, you still bully me. Do you know that I almost died just now? Hongdu stood up and threw himself into Xiangchen's arms. Hong Yui, Rin Nohara, and Yuzuki Yuan are also close to Xiangchen, and they feel that only when they're close to Xiangchen can they feel safe. You guys are really going to cause trouble. If I hadn't left you with the means to save your life, you would all be dead now. Xiangchen blamed her mouth, but showed a doting smile on her face. No wonder we'll be fine, so it was the teacher who saved us. Nohara-rin suddenly realized. I didn't expect you to be fine, bad teacher. Hongdu raised her head from Xiangchen's arms. Hurry up and come down to me. But you still slandered me as a bad teacher, Xiangchen said with a fierce face. I won't come down. Hongdu hugged Xiangchen tightly and stuck out his tongue at Xiangchen. Nohara-rin, Uchiha, and Yuzuki Yuan looked at Red with envy on their expressions. In fact, they also wanted to seek comfort in Xiangchen's arms. Just now, they thought they were going to die, but now thinking of that scene, they still have some lingering fears. Okay, come down quickly. Xiangchen stretched out his hand and pulled the red bins down. Hongdu reluctantly looked at Xiangchen's embrace with a reluctant look on his face. Nagato on the side was expressionless. Everyone seemed to ignore him, very embarrassed. Don't I want to lose face for Nagato? As if hearing Nagato's heartfelt voice and comforting the four little apprentices, Xiangchen looked at Nagato, and the smile on his face instantly disappeared without a trace. He, Xiangchen, was an extremely protective person. Although the four little apprentices were not injured, it did not mean that Xiangchen would let Nagato go. If you like this audiobook, subscribe the channel for more videos like this. And join my Patreon if you want to support me, where you can find advanced audiobooks that hasn't been uploaded on YouTube till now. Leave some comment and let me know if you guys like this story, or you have a web novel you like and want to hear its audiobook. I will be happy to create them for you. Please like, share, and leave a comment on the video.